Astarte was the most important goddess of the pagan Semites. She was the goddess of love, fertility, and maternity for the Phoenicians, Canaanites, Aramaeans, South Arabs, and even the Egyptians. Her name was Ishtar in Babylonia and Assyria, where she was also the goddess of war. Some Old Testament stories call her Ashtaroth and describe the construction of her altar by King Solomon and its destruction by King Josiah. Astarte was identified with the planet Venus. The Greeks called her Aphrodite, and the Romans knew her as Venus. This is really this stuff is like they're restoring these places now. I put a slide related to that in our presentation where they're restoring Ishtar's Gate, the U.S. Embassy over there, which I don't know why the U.S. Embassy would use our money to do that,
What
but
country?
that's what they're doing. It's in, I think it said Baghdad. I think, let me see. It was U.S. Embassy, Babylon funded. It was part of a $3 million donation by the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad.
You want to pull it up?
So that is really, really current news. Yeah, can you pull that up? I don't know if I can
Yeah, yeah.
pull that up from here.
I'll let you
But
get
yeah,
to whatever slide it's on.
there it is. Yeah, it says in the article I found, it said Babylon is coming back to life with its famed Ishtar Gate. And for those of you, I think everybody here knows that's where we get Easter, the name Easter from Ishtar, to
Yep.
be restored by this summer. And so $3 million, the U.S. is over there. And the purpose of a U.S. embassy, I didn't even know. I'm like, what is their purpose? I always hear that word. It sounds so prestigious, the embassy. But we have them in different places where we're supposed to help relationships with these countries and assist American citizens who travel there. So restoring a Ishtar, the Ishtar famous gate, whatever this thing is, like this pagan thing, like why is that something they're doing? That's not even like their purpose to
Three
restore
million
pagan
dollars.
structures. I mean, would they restore a biblical archaeological site for Moses or anything? No, they're
No,
doing these things.
they'll cover that up.
Yeah, yeah, they'll cover that and hide that. They're not going to make any news articles about that stuff, but this is going to be in the news, and they're going to promote it, restore it, and get the people over there excited, taking pictures, and to these same pagan statues and promoting that stuff.
When was this written?
I cannot remember when it
Because
was
it
written
has
either.
2018 in the on
Yeah,
the right side, but that doesn't mean that's when it actually took
yeah, so it's
place.
probably 2017, maybe 26, somewhere around that time period. Yeah,
So
kind of.
5-ish years ago. Wow.
Hmm.
What a great use of $3 million. Thanks, guys.
Yep. We could have fed some other hungry people. Nope. We're going to resurrect Ishtar's gate.
Oh man. Keep your
Nothing
seatbelts
new
on.
under
It's
the
only going to
sun.
get worse. The more we cover. All right, here we go. So back to this slide. So we have, let's see, Ashtaroth, Astarte, Aphrodite, Venus, and Ishtar all represented here. So we have pretty much the same deity, just different names, different cultures, aka the Queen of Heaven, pretty much. So here we have the four that were mentioned in that. I think it's the World Book Encyclopedia. Yeah. So Astarte, she's kind of looking like in the Egyptian style there, and then
Mhm.
Aphrodite, and then looks like Venus kind of smoked a fatty.
Yeah. The sarcastic teenage eye roll there. Yeah.
She looked like she's got the munchies and needs something to drink. She's
Yeah.
smoked out with the homies, and then Ishtar on the right. Oh my! So basically, we had this is repackaged Babylon. What started at the Tower of Babel in Babylon, or maybe even before that, but it definitely carried on all throughout the world. Just the same deity, different names, different cultures. So let's check out a couple verses talking about the Queen of Heaven in the Old Testament, and then I'll give you the one in the New Testament because I think it's less reading, maybe
Mhm.
less names too.
Yeah.
All right, so in Jeremiah 7:17 and 18, do you not see what they are doing in the cities of Yehuda or Judah, and in the streets of Jerusalem? The children are gathering wood. So they're making the children partake in these pagan practices. The fathers are lighting the fire, and the women are kneading their dough to make cakes for the sovereignness of the heavens. In the King James, it says Queen of Heaven. And to pour out drink offerings to other mighty ones to provoke me. And then jump over to Judges 10:6, we'll see a similar verse. And the children of Israel again did evil in the eyes of Yahweh and served the Baals and the Ashtaroths. So there's a lot of times you'll see these two together. So you'll see the Baals and the Ashtaroths together in scripture. I mean, we could probably had another 30 slides just talking about those kind of scriptures. Mm-hmm. And the mighty ones of Aram, and the mighty ones of Zidon, and the mighty ones of Moab, and the mighty ones of the children of Ammon. So they're going against what he talked about in the Torah. Do not learn the ways of these nations. And Jeremiah 10. And the mighty ones of the Philistines, and forsook Yahweh and did not serve him. And let's jump over to the New Testament. And Joshua, read this one.
Yeah. For a certain man named Demetrius, a silversmith who made silver shrines of Artemis, that's a familiar name, reminds me of NASA's new mission, provided no little business for the craftsmen who, having called them together with the workers of similar trade, said, Men, you know that our wealth is from this business, and you see and hear that not only at Ephesus, but throughout almost all Asia, this Shaul has persuaded and turned away a large number, saying that they are not mighty ones, which are made with hands. And not only is this trade of ours in danger of coming to rejection, but also that the temple of the great female mighty one Artemis, whom all Asia and the world worship, shall be regarded as worthless and her greatness diminished. So you have literally the undoing of those works and people who were profiting off of that, just like they're profiting off the lies now, being upset because the truth about our Father and his love and his beloved Son destroys the need for any of these so-called mighty ones. They're powerless.
Oh, darn. They're going to lose their income stream.
Yeah.
Making their pagan deities. So it's interesting. So a couple things I want to point out before we go forward. So the last part of the verse says, but also that the temple of the great female mighty one, Artemis, whom all Asia and the world worship. So the world. So this was a form of the Queen of Heaven, female deity. It was worshipped all over the world. So this is another name for the same deity being worshipped. So now remember the name Artemis. That's going to matter later in the presentation. So here's a question to ponder. Can we see any statues of this Queen of Heaven in modern times?
Bum, bum, bum.
Even though you showed one earlier, we're going to show another one.
Oh, yeah.
In America. So this is the Statue of Freedom. I recommend everybody look this up. And she is perched above the top of the Capitol Dome in Washington, D.C.
Yes. And the cap on her head, the little feathers with the head of the eagle or phoenix, whatever that is identical to the one in the painting called Satan Summoning His Legions. And the painting of that, I believe, is older than this statue. It's like the exact same headdress. It's pretty.
Yeah, and I don't have a slide with the Statue of Liberty, but I mean,
I could show you. I've got some in mind that look. You can see I don't know if you can see the feathered cap that he's wearing, but
yeah, that's awesome. Maybe you can show that. Let me do this next one, and then maybe we can show yours. So here is the same representation, but inside. So this is also the Statue of Freedom, but inside the U.S. Capitol Visitors Center in Washington, D.C. And I borrowed this from one of Rob Skiba's sites, and he just superimposed what we just showed on the last slide on top of this because it's the same female deity just inside this building as opposed to on top of the Capitol Dome.